What's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to the Cheap Seats podcast. I'm away for work, so if you see the background, it looks a little bit weird. That's okay. No wire-to-wire background. Just don't look right in this setting. But I am wire-to-wire Gene, and to my left, I swear this shit's so backwards, bro. Like, I'm pointing to you, but it's the other way. So to my left, the production prince of Sports Empire Network, the man, the myth, the legend, Kyle Edwards.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Ready for tonight? Another slate of interesting topics. So I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say.
Might be a little football centric, which it normally isn't.
Yeah.
Directly below me, Brian. Brian, what's your last name? I don't even know your last name.
Last name's Crawford.
Yeah.
Brian Crawford, crawfish hunting. The guy he crawfish hunts during the day, talks to Sports Empire Network during the night.
There you go.
What's popping, Brian? How you feeling?
Hey, man, happy Monday. Good to be here.
Happy Monday. And in the bottom left corner, let me see if I can get this right. Yeah. Bottom left corner, I got Big J, Jordan, Gene, Lewis, the JJL experience, the man that gives us just as many quotable lines and laughs. Last week, Monday night, he had the Chiefs versus the Eagles. He called it.
Yeah, man. I mean, I had Chiefs Eagles, man. That's all I had, man. But yeah,
I'm doing Monday night.
Yeah, but I'm doing right. I'm doing good, yo. How are you? Oh, Kyle, are you like TikTok, kind of like social media savvy, man? Because like when Gene did the intro to Brian, do you remember Big Brody with Tyrone? I got a bald head. Oh yeah, never.
Jordan's already starting. Thanks, guys. Welcome to the show.
Anyway,
we got a plethora of topics to get into today, and I want to start with Kyle's because Kyle's got me super excited about the Super Bowl, and he's got a question that I'm just hoping against hope here. There's three of y'all on the panel. I need y'all three to have the same answer. If you don't, it's understandable. But I need all three of you. Oh, I can't. Kyle can't have it. Damn it. I need two of y'all to have the same answer. But go ahead, Kyle. Read your question now. I'm super excited to talk about it.
All right. So my question is tied into Brady, who just retired and all that. We know he's been remembered for playoff winning, Super Bowl and all that. And it's Super Bowl week. So to go along with Brady's career, that would start with Super Bowl in 2001, since he was drafted 2000 after that Super Bowl. From 2001 to last year, what Super Bowl has been the most entertaining for you to watch that did not involve your team? I guess I'll start.
The greatest Super Bowl of all time. The greatest Super Bowl of all time. Me and Kyle cannot talk about it. It's okay. We can't talk about it. But it's the greatest Super Bowl of all time. So I'm just giving you all two a hint down there.
When I was crafting my answer,
Kyle goes first.
Yeah, I'll go
most
first.
Entertaining Super Bowl.
The
best Super Bowl.
Yeah, I had a question for your question, Kyle. So when I was making up my answer, was it the Super Bowl that's like that Brady has been in and our team hasn't, or just any two matchups in the Brady's era?
You can't pick any of the Ravens were in. That's it. It doesn't have to be a Brady Super Bowl.
Okay, so it can be like any Super Bowl in that Tom Brady kind of like that era.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So for me, it was. I mean, without using the Patriots one, we weren't allowed to choose from. But I went with the Steelers Cardinals Super Bowl. I think that was 2009.
Legit.
And it was remembered for. If there was nothing to remember from the game, there was two big plays. One was the James Harrison 100-yard interception, where I remember Larry Fitzgerald chasing him down, couldn't get him.
No, dude, he chased him down and got him. That's the reason why he scored that touchdown. He fell on Larry Fitzgerald before he hit the ground, and that's what catapulted him into the end zone.
I mean, by about the 15-yard line, Harrison was out of gas, but it was still impressive for a linebacker to take it back to the house in that magnitude. Plus, the way the game ultimately ended, the 6-yard pass from Roethlisberger after he scrambled around Antonio Holmes' back corner, two-toe swag and all that. I think for those two moments, the Cardinals weren't even a bad team. I mean, they were 9-7, but they had some players on that team. Kurt Warner, Fitzgerald. You had who was the second wide receiver? I can't remember his name, but they had like Steve Breston, who was an okay third wide receiver. The defense, he had Darnell Dockett, Antrell Roll, Dominic Rogers-Cromartie, Adrian Wilson, like Carlos Dansby. So it was a pretty good matchup. And with the Steelers were up like 20-7, Cardinals ran off 16 straight, had the lead, looked like they're going to pull it off. And then Steelers ultimately take the lead at the end with that Santonio Holmes catch. So that was the one for me.
Everyone forgets about the tits. I call him the tits, Larry Fitz, because everyone loves the tits. But Larry Fitzgerald on the deep slant, taking that to the house, 75 yards. It was just like, whoa, huge play. And Roethlisberger got him in
the Holmes
position.
Catch, that's probably what we'd remember the Fitzgerald play. But now
Santonio Holmes to toe drag swag on the corner of the end zone. Great pick, Kyle. Great pick. Jordan, go ahead. Do you have one?
Yeah. So was it Super Bowl 52? Was it the Eagles and Patriots? I mean,
man after my heart.
Hey, I mean, like the reason why I was so entertaining is because, first of all, I mean, we know Eagles won 41-33, and Philly, obvious score. But
most entertaining Super Bowl since Brady came in the league, Brett. Your favorite Super Bowl since Brady came in the league.
That your team wasn't in.
Yeah. So the reason why I picked that one is because, like, first of all, I think it was the third or fourth quarter when they decided to pull like the Philly special, and Nick Foles got it, and then Brady tried to do it and he dropped the ball. Or that was. Am I correct on that one? When he tried to do it, like they mimicked the play and Brady dropped the ball. But I think that one that Nick Foles did, he caught it for the touchdown. I believe.
So Brady did it first.
Oh, he did it first. Oh, yeah, he did it first. And then
the play was earlier in the drive, and it wasn't the same play because Brady took the snap. It wasn't a direct snap, but it was very similar. Brady dropped the ball, and the Patriots had to settle for a field goal in that realm.
Yeah,
that was one of the kicks that Gostkowski actually hit that day. I think he missed 2 or 3 in that Super Bowl, but
Nick Foles, it was the most Nick Foles had 333 yards. Brady had like 505 yards. It was a straight air attack game. It was wild. That's the Super Bowl that since I've been alive, I've watched. It's pretty crazy. I was gonna pick the Atlanta Falcons and Brady, but how they came back. But I had to go with the Philly special.
So before Brian goes and takes that one, which I think he's a Falcons fan, so he can't use that one.
I can't take that one,
but that's okay. I want to talk to all the people out there because if you Google the most entertaining or greatest Super Bowls ever. And Brett, you're wrong too. That's okay. I'm going to let everybody know. If you pick the Falcons Patriots as one of your favorite Super Bowls, you're wrong. Okay. Let me explain to you why you're wrong. And like your opinion is wrong. Like, opinions can't be wrong. I'll explain to you why your opinion is wrong. That Super Bowl stunk. It was 28-3. Everyone turned it off. No one was really paying attention. And then it was like 28-10. And they're like, okay. Or whatever it was, score here, score there, 28-13. All right. No one turned that Super Bowl on. And then near the end of the game, when the Patriots couldn't be stopped, when the Patriots got the ball down, was it 28-20, Kyle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everybody knew they weren't going to be stopped. Everyone. They weren't being stopped in that situation. Just wasn't happening. It was not an entertaining Super Bowl. It was an entertaining comeback. The second half of the Super Bowl was entertaining, but it was 28-3. See, now Brett going to go. See, Brett, you're going to go steal mine, and you can't do that on the show. I'm kidding. So I'll go next because Brett just put it out there. The Seahawks Patriots in 2014. That was an incredible back and forth game. See, if you notice, I think the best games are the back and forth games, right? Seattle, New England was back and forth. So New England's got the lead 28-24, and Seattle gets a prayer of a play bounces off the guy's chest, rolls around, he catches it, he gets up, he gets tackled at like the 5 or 7 or 8 yard line. Next play, Marshawn Lynch runs it down to like the 2 yard line. 6 yards. Like, you just know the next 2 plays are going to Marshawn Lynch, and the Seahawks are about to win. I think it was back-to-back Super Bowls. Pretty sure that they won the Super Bowl prior versus Denver. And for whatever reason, Pete Carroll calls a passing play. And I got to give Malcolm Butler credit, because that man is like, we studied this in practice. We know they run rub routes. I seen it, and we jumped the route. And it was awesome. And I had money on the Patriots that day. So that was fun. Ended up winning money on that game. But it was one of the more entertaining Super Bowls. And to watch Richard Sherman throw like a temper tantrum on the sideline and to watch the jubilation and the joy from the Patriots sideline when they all thought they were about to lose the Super Bowl and then they won, just super entertaining. I couldn't pick 52. Jordan has the winner. It's okay. It's the winner. It's the greatest Super Bowl ever. Back and forth. It was 38-33. And then Brandon Graham with the strip sack fumble. It was and when it was 38-33 in that game, Eagles, Patriots, you knew Brady was going to go down and score that touchdown. Everybody that was watching that game, because it was 33-32 at one point. The Patriots and the Eagles came down there and they basically nickel and dime, 2 4th downs, a 4th and 3 to Aguilar, like nickel and dime down the field to get the touchdown. And when you're like, Tom Brady's got the ball with too much time left, it was like 2 and change. Brady has the ball and this game's over. And Brandon Graham with the strip sack fumble, recovered by none other than Derek Barnett, and the rest is history. So that's the real winner, but I'll take the Seahawks Patriots for my second.
All right. Well, Brian, it's up to you.
Mine, that's the one I was going with at first. It was that Steelers Cardinals game. And it was that James Harrison rumbled down for 100 yards, falling on Larry Fitzgerald to actually score and to score. Outside of that one, I can go back to just last year, the Rams in Cincinnati. That was a pretty entertaining game throughout. And then come down to that the defense having to make a stop in order to win that game with Aaron Donald, best defensive player in the league, coming up and showing why he was the best defensive player in the league. So I'll settle on that
one. Freddie with the little homer pick, not understanding the question. He went Giants, Patriots, but hey, you might never know. He might have been a Rams fan that year. So it might not have been his team. You never know.
Yeah.
Anthony Price says Eagles, New England in 2005. I just like T.O. playing with a bad ankle. My man Danny Dempsey didn't understand the question. He took the Super Bowl for the year before Brady came in the league. It's okay. It's okay. It's from the Brady era.
I'm surprised no one had picked the Ravens in front of ours because like the whole how the lights went off and like Jacoby Jones ran it back for like 109 yards.
I'm shocked that you're surprised that no one thinks the Rams. I said the Ravens.
Niners.
Surprised no one picked the Ravens. That's my team.
I mean, as far as entertaining, I mean the way that was the delay.
The lights went out. That wasn't entertaining. I was annoyed. I was at Super Bowl party like, what the hell's going on?
I didn't like that because I really think that it took the wind out of Baltimore's sail. They had that game running away with it. And then you get that delay, big old timeout, and let San Fran catch their breath, get back into the game. It was like outside of that, it wouldn't have been entertaining if that game would just kept going. It would have been a boat race.
Fair.
I guess who wants to go next?
Oh, I got you. I'll feed you, baby bird. Brian, big Bry, the fisherman. Crawl, fish, crawfish.
All right, so I guess we can jump on to the next topic. And that's going to be the evolution in basketball with the Giants.
Yours was a good question.
Yeah, so evolution of the big man in the NBA. who would you start your franchise with? Then we got the Joker, the process, Embiid, or take it back to my heyday, which is the Dream, Hakeem Olajuwon. Now I can start it off, and I'll tell you the obvious pick for me, and not gonna be for y'all. It's the Dream. You don't get these other big dudes without the Dream going out there the night that David Robinson got his MVP and putting damn near 50 on them, made them look stupid, shaking them, faking them out, got them jumping, looking a little ballerina trying to play defense, and that's where the big man who really had skill showed this is what you can do with a 7-footer in the NBA. Now he didn't evolve into the 3-point shooting big guy, but I'm pretty sure with that jump shot that he did have, if he just would have went on back there and threw up a couple, he could have eventually gotten to that 3-point shot, but that just wasn't the time at that point. But it's got to be the Dream that you had on defense, and you still got the offensive scoring power from a 7-footer.
Okay, so I will remember that, okay? I want to go last on this one, but I will remember that. Just remind me to remind Brian why he's wrong.
Okay, you want to go next, and I'll go third? Or...
Well, I guess you'll be reminding me as well because I like the Dream. I'm one of those who was a big fan of his, especially with his backstory where he was, a goalkeeper over in Africa. They found him. And because of that, soccer background, that's where he got that footwork from. You had all these big men who came up who went to the Dream School to learn how to play on the block. Kobe worked out with him because they understood when it came to post play, there was none better than the Dream. He had all the moves in his arsenal. He had a nice little mid-range game as well. I think that gets lost in all this. But defensively, he was a stopper at the rim. I'm just like Brian. I think the Dream is one of those big men who almost gets kind of lost in kind of NBA history when we're talking about great big men. But you saw what he did to Robinson. You saw him with his battles against Shaq and all that. Yeah, give me the Dream.
I'm not going to tell you why you're wrong because I don't think the Dream is the wrong answer. It's just the analogy that Brian gave was wrong. But that's okay. I'm going to get there.
I think I'll cover what I think me and had the same mindset as far as analytics because I was going to say, so are you talking about starting a franchise with a big in this modern day NBA?
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
that was my understanding. Like we're starting one tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right?
So I don't want to disrespect Hakeem because I haven't watched him since I'm the youngest of the group. Born in '98, so I didn't really get to see Hakeem play. So I'm torn between Embiid and Jokic, but Jokic, the Joker, I think I'm gonna go with Joker because he. So I feel like Jokic is a more consistent 3-point shooter than Embiid. Embiid more of like that mid range, kind of like that post up, get rebounds. He can pass, but as far as analytics, I mean, I don't think maybe like Brian said, Hakeem can find a jump shot. But this whole NBA is based on. I mean, we're used to be just like getting boards and grabbing rebounds and doing outlet passes. Now it's more like, we see Giannis's and the Jokic bring the ball up and it's more responsibility for the big man. So Jokic, like I think Brett said that Anthony said he's a more all-around player, Jokic. In this is easy to find pieces to surround Jokic with that can, make him better. So but now, if we were talking about the older NBA, then maybe I'd pick Hakeem, but because that fits his play style. But if there are modern day bigs where their big is expected to shoot the 3 or the mid range and pass the ball and play make and be a point guard, like a hybrid point guard or a shooting guard, I'm picking Jokic.
Okay, so I don't think any of the answers could be wrong. I think it depends on how you're building your roster. I think each one of those ones, like how do you want to play basketball? Like if I want to run and gun, I want to be able to outlet pass. I want to be able to space the floor and shoot threes and be a nightmare offensively. The answer would be Jokic, right? Like that's what he does. If I wanted to play traditional playoff half court basketball, Guy that's going to give you fundamentals throughout the lane. Someone that's going to play great defense, but also handle himself offensively. Hakeem Olajuwon, top 11, 12 player of all time. No doubt in my mind. I'm going to go homer here, and I'll tell you why. Because the style and fundamentals that I want to play basketball with is I want my big man to be able to dominate. And I want my big man to be able to, and I think that out of the three of them, the most dominant player is Joel Embiid. The process is by far, in my eyes, the more dominant player. I think if you match these three guys up in matchups in games, Embiid would be statistically better than the other two. I don't think that's close. But let me tell Brian why he's wrong.
Yeah.
Brian, you made a point earlier. Brian, I love you. I really do. But you made a point earlier, like, oh, there wouldn't be a Joel Embiid if it wasn't for Hakeem Olajuwon. I agree with you. I agree with that point. It's a wrong point, though. Let me ask you a question real quick. Who's the greatest hip-hop artist of all time?
Oh,
man. Well,
You
for
can be
me,
quick here.
Tupac.
Okay. How about you, Kyle? Jordan?
I said Hove.
Hove?
Jay-Z.
I'd probably lean Jay-Z.
No,
there ain't no Jay-Z without Slick Rick. It doesn't necessarily mean that because you're the originator that you're the best at the position.
Oh, yeah. It's like
Hakeem Olajuwon was the originator of like an athletic big that played both sides of the ball, the dream shake. He was incredible, right?
Yeah.
But like in today's NBA, he would get abused because he wouldn't be able to play around the outside. I want to pull you back to what just happened 2 years ago when the Utah Jazz were number 1 seed and the Clippers absolutely abused them by putting five wings out there and making making Rudy Gobert guard the 3-point line. Mm-hmm. It does. I can't start my franchise with a guy that has cement in his legs. Out of the three of them, Hakeem Olajuwon was by far the slowest. Out of the three of them, Hakeem Olajuwon by far shot the worst. Out of the three of them, you don't think so?
No.
Who was slower than him out of the three people there?
At least I know Jokic is slower than him.
Jokic can stretch the floor. Or if you think Jokic is slower than him, that's fine. But from what I see, Jokic can stretch the floor and defend the floor around the perimeter. I've never seen Hakeem Olajuwon ever defend the perimeter, ever. So the point I'll go with Joel Embiid is because Embiid gives you that defensive presence, that rim protection. He can defend the perimeter, and he can stretch the defense. If Hakeem Olajuwon was guarding Joel Embiid, I want you to ask yourself this question. Tomorrow, we had a game. Who would have the better stat line? Hakeem or Joel Embiid? And if you say Hakeem Olajuwon, I just think you're either old or I think that you're living in the past. I think Hakeem Olajuwon is a greater overall player in the grand scheme of things, but that's not the question. I think Hakeem will always – I think Joel Embiid will tell you Hakeem Olajuwon was a greater player than him. But as far as starting a franchise in the modern-day NBA, I'm going to go with the process. I probably should go Jokic. I think he's the perfect center for the modern-day NBA, but I prefer my centers to give me, like, elite rim protection and to give me something on the defensive end. So that's how I want to build my team.
Yeah.
So we can argue. Let's debate. Anyone have an issue with what I said? I would love it.
No, the only thing for me was I do think Jordan brought up a good point with Jokic in that for the modern NBA, it's probably easier to build around Jokic.
100%.
Because I think that's a valid reason to probably start with him. Because we know with Embiid, we've seen different iterations of the Sixers, and not really any of them have worked so far necessarily. And Olajuwon, those teams that he had with the back-to-back and the Rockets, organization where they were kind of guard-oriented, pressure guards like that. I don't know if you could find 3 guards like that today. So I thought that was a good point for Jokic for sure.
Yeah, I was torn between Embiid or Joker because I picked Joker because he's more of the elite big man passer. Embiid can pass it, but Embiid is known for bodying people down low, getting back on defense, running. He can shoot. But as far as that's why I can trade for Curry or Seth Curry and build around Jokic. You know what I'm saying, to make him even more of an elite passer. But it was very tight between Embiid and Joker. So
I don't think that you're wrong for saying Jokic. Let me just be clear.
Mhm.
I think my pick is a homer pick. I understand that. But I want to tell you that, like, when I think of center, the way I want my team to be built is I want them to have to defend the inside, which creates for the outside.
yeah.
So, like, Joel demands a double team. There's only 3 players in the league that don't double him. Like, there's 3 players in the league that play him straight up and don't double him. Al Horford was one of them for years. You almost have to have that length and that, like, athletic versatility to be able to stop that step to the lane. Because what Embiid does is he gets you, like, too close to him to protect the shot, and then he takes his right foot. If you ever watch him, he'll take his right foot and step almost around you. So the only way you can get through him to the basket is by fouling him. That's why he shoots so many free throws.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's real important for me. Is I need to be able to have a guy that can be post dominant, command the double team, and then I would build shooters around him. I think the 76ers have done an absolute awful job of building the ideal team around Joel Embiid. I think if you surrounded Joel Embiid with a bunch of 3-and-D guys, like if you got him Mikal Bridges, like players of that nature, you don't need James Harden. You need a Maxey, Bridges. Like, and the funny part is the 76ers organization drafted Mikal Bridges and then traded him for somebody that's never played in the league.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Mhm.
And see, I think it comes down to what generation that you started watching basketball in, or whatever your generation is.
Because Shaq don't go out. Shaq don't go out.
And
Yeah.
Shaq
See,
and be the
that's
better
the thing.
free throw shooter than Shaq too.
If y'all want to talk about being able to guard perimeter, that ain't Shaq.
Correct.
No,
But-
yeah, Shaq was
and
an
that's
interior.
why that's why I say from watching the Dream play basketball, Dream was an all-around defender. People think that he was slow. Dream wasn't that slow. He had athletic ability. He can get out there and defend, no matter who it was. So like I said, it's
I'm
all
about
about
to-
what generation.
I'm about to say something blasphemous.
Uh-oh.
This is going to be a Jordan comment, a Marcus comment. This comment is going to be wild. I think prime Joel Embiid abuses prime Shaq. Abuses. And let me give you, I get it. I see the eyes. I see it.
Because I got to think about, okay.
So I think that
they said prime Shaq and prime Shaq
and prime Embiid. I think Embiid is thick enough and strong enough to not be bullied and pressed the way Shaq would press. And I think he's quicker. So if you remember, and I know this was early in Shaq's career, but the most athletic version you'll ever see of Shaquille O'Neal was that 95-96 NBA Finals. I'm not punking you, Anthony, I promise you. But the most athletic version you've ever seen of Shaquille O'Neal was that 95-96 Finals. He was built like a brick shit house. My guy was all muscular, running up and down the court, right? And Olajuwon, who's like a carbon copy blueprint of Embiid, like defensively, absolutely destroyed him in that Finals. I just think Embiid's too quick. Like, I feel like when Shaq goes to roll, that Embiid is strong and tall enough to be able to stop that. And I don't think Shaq would get the positioning that he needs to get against someone like Joel. And I believe that. Y'all can tell me I'm nuts, and that's fine.
Is Embiid still in his late 20s, right?
Yeah, late 20s.
So like you would say, is he still in his prime? Like early
Yeah,
I mean,
of course he's in his prime.
So
Mm-hmm.
man, that's a tough one. prime Shaq for his prime. I do agree. Embiid would be the more agile big. As far as when, like you said, he can have that right foot in the post, swing you, and go to the basket. But as far as just like what,
No, you
but
just smacking your mic.
I know,
Bang.
I know. I'm like, oh, boom, like with the elbow. But
I feel like the Jordan's playing against prime Shaq. He's boom.
but yeah. I mean, as far as that aspect, yeah. But like, I don't know. But I mean, as far as getting to the line, because like you said, Embiid doesn't get to the line a lot. That's where I put he'll make the free throws. Shaq won't make the free throws. So.
Can you imagine Shaq trying to guard Joel Embiid at the perimeter or at the top of the key? I'm not trying to be. It goes both sides, right? Like I'm just being real with you, and I know it sounds blasphemous. And in the '90s and the early '90s, I really just believe that Joel would just absolutely just destroy Shaq. Let's see what Brett has to say. Stretch bigs gave Shaq trouble, so it's not a stretch for me due to miss Joel's. Come on, bro. Range and quickness. I think prime Shaq would still get his for sure, but Joel would give him trouble, just like Shaq's raw power would give him beat some problems. I agree. Oh, to not. I got it. Yeah. I agree with you. I think Shaq's raw power would give him. I think there'd be like a dunk or two in that game where you're like, damn, bro, Shaq just banged it on Embiid. I believe that, but I also believe that Joel would move him. Like, how are you going to guard him from the arc? How are you going to guard him from the top of the key? Like, I just can't see Shaq. It almost feels like me at the gym, like trying to guard some of these these guys that are so much more athletic to me. Like they'll screen right to me, like, go ahead, stick him. Like, I'm not doing that. I don't know. I believe that Embiid would be so much quicker than him that it would make him look foolish.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that would kind of work in Shaq's favor is if because Embiid has at times been too perimeter dominant, where we'll see him take 3 in perimeter shot after perimeter shot when he could dominate down low. So that would be Shaq's saving grace. But I mean, yeah, definitely Embiid with the ball. He has some handles for a big man, so that would definitely give Shaq some issues. I mean, it was interesting to bring because I never would have thought prime Shaq, prime Embiid, because like you think of prime Shaq, like that was his scariest form when he'd grab a rebound, he'd lead the break, and you'd be like, he should not be able to do that. But yeah, I'm right there with you. It's not that big of a stretch to think.
I like that. I convinced one. I like it.
I mean, yes, because like I said, when you first hear Shaq and Embiid, you're like Shaq all day, but it's like, yeah, but Shaq talks about himself. He's not going on perimeter guard guys for what? He wouldn't know what to do out there.
To be fair, Joel Embiid's rather smart. If you watch what the Sixers have done with him defensively, they take the worst shooter on the court and Embiid sticks him. Like if it's the 5 or the 4, depending on who it is, they have Embiid because they want him in the lane. You watch him all the time. He'll be like, yeah, shoot that. He'll give him the shot. But Shaq can't do that with Embiid. But let's move on. Next question on the docket, Big J.
All right. My question, I'm going to go back to the chat. It was about the quarterback or the players, NFL players.
Yeah, I got it right here. You want me to read it for you?
Let me pull it up real quick. Okay. So mine is out of these NFL players, who is the best offensive player to never reach the Super Bowl? Number 1, Chris Carter. Number 2, Tony Gonzalez. Number 3, Andre Johnson. Number 4, Warren Moon, the quarterback that actually Brian mentioned last show. Adrian Peterson, Phillip Rivers at number 6. 7, Barry Saunders. And 8, LaDainian Tomlinson.
My guy, I need you to do me a favor. I don't mean to be disrespectful. I need you to say the word Sanders. There's no U in there. It's Barry Sanders.
You said Barry Saunders, but
Sanders, Saunders, Water.
No.
Did you say
When you were
Gene
talking,
is
when
wrong
you were
with
talking about the greatest running back ever to play the game,
You're right.
put
You're right.
some
Sanders.
respect on that name. That's like me saying Michael Jordan. No, dog, it's Michael
right.
Jordan.
Barry Sanders. Okay.
There we go. I'm good with that.
So I'll go first. Gene kind of stole it from me. Barry Sanders. That was the best player in my eyes. That was the best offensive player and never won Super Bowl. Let me tell you why. Dude had 10 1,000-yard seasons. He had 8 All-Pro selections. He had 15,000 rushing yards. He played 10 seasons. He had a total of 109 touchdowns. I mean, and I was looking at his stats throughout his years playing. I don't think he ever really missed I think he had the 19 something season where he played 11 games, but the rest of the games he played like most of the games. 16 games here, 15 games here. I'm not sure what the season number regular season games. I think it was like what was the like now in NFL today it's like 18 games. I don't know how many games within
it
the
was 16.
16.
Yeah, so I mean, in '89 he played 15, and '90 he played 16, and the only year he didn't play all 16 games was in '93 when he had 11 games. So I mean, he had that kind of that healthy career. So yeah, I mean he was the prototypical Saquon Barkley who was a thick-bodied running back, hard to bring down. So yeah, I mean that's when I looked at the list, I was shocked that he was on that list. I thought he won at least one, but that's crazy to me that I knew he was on Detroit, and that probably didn't help his case, but yeah, that's my player I chose.
Well, Detroit's never made it to a Super Bowl. They're one of the few teams that never make it. And I think that the Barry Sanders answer is pretty easy. Does anybody, before I ask this follow-up, like part B to this, does anybody have anybody different than Barry Sanders for this question?
Well, it's a 1A and a 1B for me.
I kind of might have had the list because they had who was that QB for the Bengals a long time ago?
Carson Palmer.
Yeah, they had him. So I was like, why they? I mean, I kind of got him off the list. But.
Yeah.
Who's your 1B, Brian? Because I feel like we all have Barry Sanders, so I kind of want to kind of spin off this question because I don't think it's a bad question.
It's Warren Moon, and that's
I like that.
Yeah, and it's primarily because when you saw Warren Moon come out of college, there's no way in hell you can tell me that he should not have been drafted. This man was not drafted and had to go spend, I think, 4 or 5 years in CFL. With that type of quarterback talent, there's no way. And then once he finally got to the league, he still put up numbers. So to go through that and not be able to make it to a Super Bowl, it's just like, damn. So I put him in that Barry Sanders category.
So I like that answer. I do. I really do. Warren Moon was just different. A lot of people don't realize how good Warren was.
Yeah.
My answer is going to be Barry Sanders. I think he's the greatest running back to ever lace him up. He played behind a crap offensive line. The best receiver he ever had in his entire career when he was playing was Herman Moore.
Yep.
Best quarterback he ever had when he was playing was Scott Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
It's embarrassing how bad Detroit was. And yet you watched every Thanksgiving at 12 o'clock. You turned on to watch Barry Sanders and see if he did something special. And it was just all the time, man. The guys, you hear about them referring to Dominique Wilkins as the human highlight reel.
Yeah,
like Barry Sanders was the human highlight reel in the running back for him. He was just that guy. So if Kyle's going to go Barry too, my secondary question would be, who would be the next guy on the list? Who your 1B was?
For everyone or just?
Yeah, everyone. Kyle, let's go. Kyle go first though, because we kind of stole his thunder.
Well, I mean, oddly enough, I was kind of like with Brian on this one. I wouldn't Warren Moon as a second, but if we want to take Warren Moon out,
no, you don't need to take Warren Moon out. Warren Moon.
Okay, well then, yeah, I go Warren Moon because I remember, even like video games back then, like those Houston offenses were always fun to use.
Facts.
like I don't know, Warren Moon was just synonymous with Houston Oilers. However you felt about the franchise, but it's just like you thought with those high-powered offenses that they would find a way to at least get there one year, but it just never happened for him. And like Brian said, his path to the NFL should never have gone that way. I mean, luckily he did win, a couple of Grey Cups in Canada, so he was a champion at least there. But yeah, it's Warren Moon or Barry Sanders for me.
Another player I had that I was gonna add on the list, but it was Megatron. Player who never won a Super Bowl, offensive player. He had 8 Pro Bowls. 6 Pro Bowls, 83 receiving touchdowns, 11,000 receiving yards, 731 receptions with 9 seasons. So another player that, looking down the line, another healthy season. Other than the 2014, he had played 13 games. He broke the. I think he held the record in 2012 with 1,964 yards. Like hands of stone when he caught the ball. And that's another player.
Hands of stone.
Hands of stone means he can't catch.
Yeah.
Oh, hands of
soft hands.
Soft hands, yeah. So that's another Detroit player that is surprised that didn't get a ring.
So Danny, it was a list. The best player without a Super Bowl to me is always Dan Marino. That's just my opinion, but he's not on this list. Jordan got a list, and it was the best player to not win a Super Bowl on this list. For me, it's going to be
not to reach, not to play in the Super
Bowl.
Well,
best offensive player that ever reached the Super Bowl.
So mine would be Tony Gonzalez. Tony G was the best tight end ever to play the game before the best tight end ever played the game. So I think that Travis Kelce won his career as the greatest tight end ever. Tony G was that. He was everything in a bag of chips, and he never really had a great quarterback around him. Yet he still put up elite numbers. Like, if you go through it, Tony Gonzalez is, I'm trying to think who Tony Gonzalez's best quarterback he ever had was. Like, and I don't want to use the end of his career with Matt Ryan because it was like kind of like, but that's probably the best quarterback he ever played with.
Yeah,
Elvis
I think
Gerback.
Like
yeah, he had
Trent
Elvis
Green.
Gerback.
Yeah, Trent Green.
Was he
Trent
there with
Green.
Alex Smith? Yeah.
Probably.
I think Alex Smith was in there too. Yeah.
So Alex Smith, Trent Green, Elvis Gerback, Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
The other two great ones, Kelsey and Gronk, had Brady and Mahomes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll go Tony G. All right.
Yeah.
Next question, I got mine.
Hold on. So if you roll back to that one real quick, because Adrian Peterson is an interesting one.
That's another one, good one.
Thinking about the quarterbacks and the offenses that he had put around him. So he a little bit is in that Barry Sanders dilemma to where you look at him like, okay.
Didn't he have Culpepper, though, for the beginning of his career?
Did he?
I think Dante Culpepper's career went from like 2001 to 2008. And I think AP was on the Vikings from like 2004 to 2008. Let me check that real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't know
He
if he
played
had
with-
Cole.
Did he play with Brett Favre in Minnesota?
If he would have, it'd been only 1 year. And that was on
Yeah.
that year Brett Favre was on the news.
Hang on, I got it. Dante Culpepper.
Another one, Thompson too, in the Chargers. That's another running back. There's a lot of good.
Culpepper was with Minnesota from 1999 to 2005. Adrian
He
Peterson.
just came in the league, didn't he?
Oh, I'm checking. I got you. Adrian Peterson was
Christian Ponder. Yeah, that's what Brett said too.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Christian
saying.
Ponder was a bum.
So I was saying, while James looking at up, what are some like reliable like NFL sites for like stats? Like while he looks that up, like what are some sites that you like?
I use Pro Football Reference.
Pro Football.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he
PFP.
Peterson was 2007.
okay. I didn't think he was there.
So yeah, you're right. And then Brett Favre.
I think he played with 1
Vikings.
year or 1 or 2 years. He played with them.
Oh, let me figure out what year it was. No, 2009. So 1 year with
So
Favre.
okay.
Hey, he didn't really have many good quarterbacks. That's fair.
Nah.
Yeah.
The Vikings always seem to be a quarterback away from being great. And the year Favre played for them, he got absolutely decimated in that NFC Championship game.
Bounty Gate, man.
Is what it is.
Yeah, buddy.
I got my question. This is a little off the wall, and it's very, very it was derived from what we talked about earlier. I know we were supposed to do these before the show, but I've been traveling for work, so I apologize. What was the greatest matchup, hypothetical matchup that you could ever put together? So, and give me a couple. Give me one NBA, one NFL. So I'll give you an example, right? Michael versus LeBron in a one-on-one basketball game. Who would win? Or, whatever hypothetical you want to go with. Like Deion Sanders versus Calvin Johnson. Or Jerry. We watched him versus Jerry Rice. But like a prime Deion versus Calvin Johnson. Whatever matchup you want to look at, you can go with the, Reggie White versus Orlando Pace. Whatever matchup you want to put together, but give me one basketball one and give me one NFL one. I'll start with the basketball one. I won't go with the prototypical one of LeBron versus Jordan. That's kind of, dated.
Mm-hmm.
What I would really love to see is a prime Larry Bird, 3-time MVP, back-to-back years versus a prime Kevin Durant. They play the same position, and they just have such different, such unique.
I was gonna pick that one. I literally was gonna pick that one. Bird versus Durant, but
I'll go prime. So, and then you tell me who you think will win in that one. But that's a great one. 2017 Warriors versus the 95 Bulls. That's fine. You can use the entire thing. By the way, that 2017 Warriors team, the first year with KD, would have beat the Bulls team with Michael Jordan in 5. This shit don't even go 6. 5.
I don't know, 5?
The Ops will get mad, but they beat them in 5.
Okay.
No, so they beat them in 5 with today's rules. Yes. You can't use that 95 rule where you hand checking. Yeah. So but that's, like I said, that comes down to generation and evolution of basketball. 3-ball is the most important thing right now. I don't care what nobody say, even if they would actually have to play it in order for somebody to say, oh, okay, no, that Warriors team wouldn't have beat the Bulls. You're not going to be able to tell nobody that it wouldn't just because they're going to look at it and say, how many threes Curry would have shot? All right.
I got a trivia question for y'all, just because I don't think you realize how offensively challenged that. That's a great one, Danny. Oh, that's a great one.
Anytime you use a Petrovic reference, I'm here for it.
Oh, I love it. Yo, that's a great. But just for reference, here, I got all 3 of y'all here. I want you to name me the 3rd leading scorer on the 95-96 Chicago Bulls. I'll give each one of y'all one guess.
Was it Ron Harper?
Ron Harper was 6th or 5th in scoring.
Okay.
He points per game.
95.
Third leading scorer and for the 95-96 Chicago Bulls. My man Danny went with Horace Grant. Horace Grant wasn't on the team.
No. Kukoc.
That's correct. Tony Kukoc, 13 points. So Jordan averaged 30, Pippen averaged 19, Kukoc 13, Luke Longley 9.
Yeah.
Y'all crazy to me, bro. That you think Steph, Clay, Kevin Durant, Andre Iguodala Iguodala. I'm just kidding.
I about to say,
Draymond
wait a
Green. Look, I'll tell you right now, Draymond Green would have been a menace. Him and Rodman would have gotten a fist fight. So you could just eliminate them two. They would have 100% gotten a fist fight.
Yep.
And Kevin Durant, Steph, and oh my God, I just can't. Klay Thompson, it's too much. So give me your answer for Bird versus Durant 1-on-1.
Man.
Dog walk the Bulls. Fact. Not against the Bulls. Michael Jordan's greatest player ever. It's not.
Like I said, for me, I got to see that one play out. I would never be dog walk. Yeah, I don't know. Because you still got to play both ends. Yeah, the Warriors going to throw a bunch
of threes. But you
threes.
forget that the Warriors had 3 defensive specialists on the roster. They played both ends. Klay Thompson, before his injury, was one of the best defenders in the league. Andre Iguodala was on that roster, and Draymond Green was on that roster. All 3 of them were elite defenders.
Yeah, okay. And you still got Jordan and Pippen and whoever else you want to roll out there. They were going to be elite defenders.
That's the point, though. You could just take Draymond Green and have him foul around Michael Jordan and be a dickhead the whole game, and then let the other. I would take Green and Iguodala and be like, y'all two. I just want y'all to foul Jordan around. I'll put KD on Pippen, and I wouldn't worry about the rest of the team. Yeah, have fun, y'all. Nobody else could score.
No, just because Tony Kukoc only scored 13 points a game, you're not going to tell me that Tony Kukoc could not play offense.
Bro, I need you to do me a favor and watch the Olympics when he played against the United States, and you watch what they did to him when they played real defense versus him.
There are 2 games.
I get it.
Watch the second one, too.
Yeah, that's because the Chicago Bulls organization called up Jordan and Pippen. Were like, yo, don't do that shit again. We just signed him. That's what happened. Yo, I'm not kidding with you. This is not a lie. That sounds like I made it up. I'm telling you, that's what happened.
No, I'm pretty sure they did too. But like I said, hey, if you watch, it's 2 of them. There's 2 games.
Imagine Ron Harper trying to keep up with Steph Curry. Like in my head, I'm like paying attention to that. That's a great answer, Brett. I really appreciate that. But like I could just imagine Ron Harper trying to keep up with Steph. It would be silly. You know, Mike wasn't keeping up with him. You see what little AI did to his ass.
I mean, I figured, Jordan would probably guard Klay. I'm assuming.
Correct. That makes sense.
You put Pippen on Durant. Now Curry is where it gets tricky.
Yeah, but the funny thing about Jordan on Klay would run Jordan. I'm not saying he would score on him at will, but like Klay ran around the basketball court constantly looking for a shot. That guy's running wind sprints. Like, it was not a fun roster to try to keep up with. All right, KD or Bird, 1-on-1.
KD.
I'm going KD.
I'm gonna go Homer. I'm gonna go Bird. I feel like
Larry Legend.
Bird was crafty enough that I think he'd be able to beat Durant.
KD ain't crafty.
Well, I ain't gonna say KD ain't crafty, but I
Bird,
believe Larry Bird was good because you have to say prime Larry Bird.
Damn.
Prime Larry Bird was scrappy. He was gonna move.
Yeah,
I just don't.
That's true.
With the same logic that y'all putting with that Warriors versus Bulls, you gotta apply that here.
I could see,
Larry Bird in 84, 85 was actually quick. And people don't realize how quick he was. They act like he was 91 Bird his whole career because they seen how slow he moved. He wasn't. 84 Bird. All I want you to do is watch the final minute of that game where he absolutely took over. Who were they playing, Kyle? I know you know what I'm talking about. Where he stole the inbounds pass.
Yeah.
Pass was ridiculous. Like watch that. You'll see how quick Larry Bird was.
Yeah.
Prime Bird. And Bird was a better trash talker than Reggie Miller. Bird would walk into the locker room. You heard about the story where he walked into the locker room, people warming up to a 3-point contest?
Yep.
He walked in, he goes, I just want to see who's going to finish second in here.
and then did it with his warm up on.
With the warm up on, yeah.
Bird was different, bro. I tell you right now, Prime Bird was better than Prime Magic. The difference is Magic, he had a longer prime. But Prime Bird, like 84, 85, 86, those 3 years are better than any year Magic ever had. So like his best 3 years destroyed Magic. But people don't want to give him credit for that. They don't want to. Larry Bird Prime is the 4th best basketball player ever to play the game. No doubt in my mind. The difference is Larry Bird's prime, his backup messed up. He just really got screwed up. All right, give me one, guys. We could go around the horn. It could be NBA or NFL. Don't matter.
It's
an on-the-fly question. I got to think about that.
I'll tell you one that I want to see, and that's Darrell Revis and Prime Jerry Rice.
Oh, my God. And Prime Revis was an island, bro.
There you go. That's why I want to see that one. Because Revis had the ability, not only just the foot speed to keep up with you, he had the athleticism to change direction.
He did.
And he was going to have to do that with Jerry Rice because Rice was not only fast, he ran precision routes. Jerry Rice was a route runner.
2007, was it? 2008? What was the year the Patriots went 17-0?
That was 2000.
That's that Randy Moss year.
2007.
Yeah.
That year, Darrell Revis played against Randy Moss. And everyone thinks about the one pass that Randy Moss had with the one-handed touchdown pass. That was ridiculous. And you don't want to look at the fact that the rest of the 7 quarters they played, Randy Moss had a total of 4 receptions.
Yeah.
Like, by himself, no help. Darrell Revis just was different.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah. For me, I had an NFL one. Kind of homerish on this one.
That's all good.
But, prime Patriots with Brady versus a prime Niners squad with Montana.
Yeah, but see, that's funny. What's the prime Patriot squad? Your best team didn't win a Super Bowl.
I know.
Yeah.
But I mean,
that was the best team the Patriots ever had. They didn't win a Super Bowl.
That's true. I mean, if you line them up, yes, the ending of the story wasn't the best, but I mean, that was a pretty good team that they had out there. Only because we know.
That's why I'm asking, which year are we talking about for? Because
I was thinking of the 07 one, but that team didn't finish the job. I mean, outside of that one, their best put together team was probably maybe the one. No, I can't even say that one. I don't even I'll leave it to you. Which one do you think was? Because the 07 was so far in my head. Then
I think that was the best team. Even they just didn't win.
I'm being honest with you. I think that was the best team.
Okay.
Then if you're saying that, then probably like the 85 49ers, the year before the 85 Bears. Like, well, the 85 Bears were the 86 Bears. People always do that because the Super Bowl was in 86. So 84, 85 49ers would probably be the argument. And I would go the 84, 85 49ers. I think that what made Brady so special and why he's the GOAT is because his prime lasted so long. Like, to winning that first Super Bowl in 1999-2000 season, to winning that last one in 2021, like, he won Super Bowls in 4 different decades. Because that 99, 2000, 2000's decade, 2010's decade, and then 2021's decade, like, it's absurd.
Yeah. I also like this one from Anthony because he went with like cornerback tandem versus tandem wide receivers. So Dion and Reavers versus Moss and Calvin Johnson.
But he said quarterback is Drew Brees. They lose that one. The corners win that one. I mean, because Brees, if you got a rocket, like if Mahomes is the quarterback, let's not just use Mahomes. Favre is the quarterback.
Yeah.
Elway is the quarterback. I think the receivers win. They're bigger and stronger and faster. But because he put Brees, I go defense.
So for me, I'm gonna Real quick, I'm gonna do for NBA and NFL. So I'm gonna go with a 3-point shooting contest. Reggie Miller versus Steph Curry, 3-point
Steph.
contest.
Yeah,
And then
I go Steph.
for my NFL one, I'm gonna go a prime Ed Reed versus a prime Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice would destroy him.
Yeah, Ed Reed ain't covering.
Ed Reed's a free
Ed
safety,
Reed's
bro.
but he was still a ball hawker.
Yeah, it's because he wasn't sticking anyone.
Right. We talking about man-to-man coverage when you do that one like that. Nah, that's
Yo,
not a good,
my
that's
man
not a good one.
always throws a Ravens reference out there.
Well,
He's like,
Brett had one. Ray Lewis versus Derrick Henry. That was a good one.
Nah,
Yeah,
that's
That's
a
Ray Lewis in the box with
Yeah.
Derrick Henry. Yeah.
Woo,
Like Ed
Jesus.
Reed, if you want to say like I guess having Rice going over the middle with Ed Reed there, I guess. But yeah, Rice with Ed
Rice
Reed
would
off
cook
as far
him,
off
bro.
the line as he was, Rice would get the best of him.
Rice would cook him.
I see what you throw it out there with Ed Reed, but yeah, it
Ooh.
kind of doesn't work here because he's a safety.
Hey man, that's a battle right there.
Aaron Donald's in there.
I'm convinced, and I mean this when I say
Marino
this.
versus 2000.
I am convinced that there's no one on God's green earth that could guard Aaron Donald in his prime one-on-one. That's nothing against Larry Allen. There's no one on God's green earth. He is quick, strong, fast. Bro, you remember the interview with Aaron Donald and DK Metcalf? And they were talking about DK Metcalf was like, oh, yeah, I bench 500 pounds. And he's like, oh, that's cool. What you doing? 800? Like, I was just like, Aaron Donald is just different, bro.
Who's more scary?
Just different.
But Larry Allen,
I think they're
that's
both scary.
that was a house that could move just as quick as a running back could. So I don't know, because that Larry Allen was a beast. Where
He was.
If he did get a hand on you, that's a tough one, man. I don't know. That'll be a battle that I would.
By
like
the
to
way,
see.
Anthony Price's answer is very easy too. And nothing against. I think Ray Lewis was the better linebacker. But if you're asking me who's scarier, Patrick Willis. He was bigger, stronger. Yeah, Ray Lewis was incredible. Probably the best middle linebacker ever played a game. But Patrick Willis.
I would not want to get hit by either of them.
I mean,
I put that there.
Patrick Lewis.
I mean, they're both scary.
I love these comments. This is why I love this episode.
Yeah.
I love cheap seats because it gets into this.
Have you ever seen the clip of Larry Allen chasing down? It was I think it was an interception, and cornerback or whoever it was, safety picked it off and was going down the sideline, and you got Larry Allen running them down. I mean, that
Pretty
was
sure you're
400
talking
pounds.
about Jason Sehorn, the Seahorse
It might have been
Giants. I remember that.
Yeah, that big. I was like, oh my god, if that dude is running people down on the sideline, yeah, man, that was a monster.
You were talking about having somebody scary. That might have been the scariest man. Having that man run at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did y'all all get one?
Yeah, but I just thought of one. And I don't
give
even
me
know
one
how
more.
good this is, but
We're about to wrap up.
So this is a dunk contest because we know how bad some of those have been.
Vinsanity.
For entertainment value, I was saying Vince Carter, and then the Levine Gordon that year when they probably had the best one of recent. You get the three of them. How just for entertainment value, those three. I mean, yes, it's Vince Carter easily, but think of how the crowd would react with those three going, because the dunk contest is usually when it's a good one. There's like one guy who carries the show.
Yeah.
But you'd have three guys there who were innovative, high flying, and really knew how to play to a crowd.
Dead up. I think the NBA needs more great players in the dunk contest. I think that what they essentially do is they get these guys that are specialists. Like, I would much rather watch a little bit less of great dunks from great players. Like, I would much rather watch LeBron James, Ja Morant, like those guys,
Zion.
Do above average dunks than watch, like, I don't know, some of these jerk offs they get in the dunk contest that are like, I never heard of. Oh, we got this guy from the G League Ignite. I'm like, what? Not even in the league.
I
got
don't
this
know.
12th guy on the bench from the Like, what is going on? Like,
I don't know why. Like, I know LeBron doesn't have anything to prove with dunking the ball, but I don't know why this isn't.
He doesn't have dunk contest dunks. I think that's what the issue.
I feel like he.
I think he pussy.
I think he just had nothing to prove with dunking.
No, I think he pussy.
See, no,
I think he didn't want to embarrass himself. If I'm being real with you,
there's a difference between dunk contest dunker,
right,
and in game.
But we can't really say that because he wasn't in the contest. So it's like
he knows,
and that's why he didn't do the contest.
No, legitimately,
or he didn't want to get hurt.
There is a big difference between in-game dunking than what you're gonna have somebody doing in a dunk contest, because you'll see a dunk in game that's gonna get everybody up out their seat. If it was just in a dunk contest, there's nobody there around. The difficulty is not going to be there, so everybody's going to be looking like, oh, that's it? Because that's exactly what you have now.
If LeBron James wanted to win a dunk contest and practiced on it for just 3 weeks, he would win a dunk contest. He has all the dunks, all the athleticism to be a dunk competition dunker. The difference is my man is worried about, it's the same reason this guy does not drive the hole with 5 seconds left on the clock, because he's scared to be at the free throw line with no time left with the game on the line. It's the truth. Say what you want to say. I'm telling you.
Wait, he said LeBron doesn't drive with the 5 seconds on the clock?
Yeah.
I
don't want to bring it up, man. He did
can't
that.
Bring up the one against the Celtics and be like, that's the norm. You have to bring up multiple.
Bro, throughout his whole career, he's
career,
notably passed up big shots instead of going up to go on the free throw line. He just has a bugaboo with the free throw line. I'm just being real with you, man. Like, don't take it. He's the second greatest player ever to play the game. I know you're a fan. I get it. All right, I'll answer Anthony Price's question.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's Ed Reed. I actually think that it's disrespectful. Listen, nothing against Sean Taylor. Love Sean Taylor. God rest his soul. I think it's disrespectful. That's not Brian Dawkins' name, but it should be Palomalo, Ed Reed, or Brian Dawkins. Brian Dawkins was better than Palomalo. Ed Reed's better than both of them. So,
yeah. Which Troy Palomalo, he played in the middle though. So weren't Taylor
he played safety.
He freelanced.
Troy Palomalo.
Yeah, he played safety.
He's a free safety. Sean Taylor's more of a strong safety.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
Brian Dawkins. Brian Dawkins and Troy Palomalo played a very similar style game.
Yeah.
Palomalo was way more instinctive. Brian Dawkins was way better. Just being real with you. I think Palomalo gets a little overhyped because he has so many incredible plays, like because of his instincts and his
highlight.
It's a little bit overhyped. And I hate saying that because, like, I'll tell you right now, if you're asking which one I want to watch Palomalo, like with my eyes. But I don't think he's better than the other two. And statistically, it's not close. Like if you pulled up their stats, Brian Dawkins is clearly the arguments between Brian Dawkins and Ed Reed. But Ed Reed is just different, bro. Ed Reed, it's like, and if you remember, I'm sure Kyle watched this, but did you guys all watch the Brady? What was it? The series that he had? I forget what it's called. What was the series called?
The Man in the Arena.
They asked Tom Brady who the person that he most, like that was the toughest player for him to go up against. He said Ed Reed. He said it was like having another quarterback on the other side of the field. Like I'd make an adjustment, Ed Reed would make an adjustment. That's how good Ed Reed was. Ed Reed was a quarterback on the defense. Every time, like Tom Brady would call out a hot route, Ed Reed would read the hot route, and it was just it was so silly.
So, I mean, I guess I was still going to say Jerry Rice, but you don't think Ed Reed would adjust to that? Just what you said. Do you think he'll call that out and be like, oh,
it's not called.
My guy, Ed Reed is not a corner.
Yeah,
he can still pick the ball off.
You got to be able to run the route.
And he can hit, the route. But still in the open field.
Do you know the difference between a safety and a corner?
I do.
Yeah, but so if you took Ed Reed, made him play corner, lined up against Jerry Rice, you're taking a little bit of Ed Reed away from him.
Taking everything away from
Yeah,
him.
Ed Reed is an
Reed sitting
instinctual
back there,
player.
yeah, he could read everything from back there. It's different than being this
On the
close to Jerry
line,
Rice
man
and
to
having to figure
man.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Jerry Rice could tell Ed Reed what route he was running every play and cook him. I'm gonna run a slant here, young boy. Like he would destroy him. Yo, why are you wild for asking that damn question? You keep going back to it.
I don't know, man. Because you say you can read everything like a quarterback.
I
so
think
it's like,
Ed
damn.
Reed is one of the greatest safeties, if not the greatest safety ever, and you're making me argue against him by asking if he would man up the greatest receiver ever to play the game.
So I just want to clear. So Ed Reed is he plays like that defense where it's like the
You're a Ravens fan. You're asking where he plays?
No,
done.
I'm not. Oh my god, bro! I know he's a free safety, but he plays basically he plays like that spy that spy. He's in the back.
Yes, he's off the ball. He's not manning up on anybody. The only time he would
I
cover him.
Gene, I knew he played safety.
Yeah, only time Ed Reed would cover somebody like that is if they come into
Like a
his
QB
zone.
spy.
But that's after he's well off the line.
I cannot believe I was
yeah.
just a part of that conversation. I can't believe I was a part of that. I can't.
Man, you ran Gene off, man.
Guys, we got to wrap it up. I can't hear y'all right now. My AirPods kicked off.
That's probably going on.
I hung up the computer.
That's probably going on the freaking TikTok page again.
Yeah, buddy.
2 weeks in a row.
Yes.
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row.
Hey, it's all right, man.
Yo, Key, if you're watching this, cut that part out.
No, we're not cutting it out. No.
He goes, what
But,
part of the field is
'cause I
Ed
get
Reed
it.
playing?
Ed Reed is seen.
No, but Gene left the stream, so I asked like he play that spy position,
Yeah.
that free safety deep route.
I love y'all.
But Gene missed
Jerry Rice.
that.
Either way, Jerry Rice.
Anyway, all right. Well, good night, y'all.
Yeah, buddy. Leave it on
We're
that.
the Chiefs podcast.
I mean, hey, since Gene picked up and left, I'll close the show out. Unless you guys have any final thoughts before we get out of here. As Brett put it, great show. Hey, glad we could entertain you guys for a little bit more than an hour. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Brett, Anthony, Daniel, Freddie stopping by. Just everybody who tuned in. Look out for the TikTok feed because we know you'll relive that one over and over. But but for myself, Gene, Brian, and Jordan, we'll catch you on the next episode, which is next Monday. We're here every Monday. So you want to hear some more stuff like what Jordan tried to put Ed Reed against Jerry Rice?
Comedy hour.
7:00 every Monday.
I mean, Monday we should have off after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we should. And then make sure you subscribe to Sports Empire Network as well, because got a lot going on over here, and definitely want to be part of the crowd. So till next week, have a great one, everyone. Good night. Then remember, Ed Reed versus Jerry Rice.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah,
All right.
everyone.